Next up, let's go to Steph Castle. So I feel like Spurs fans have been asking me to do Steph Castle for a little while now. So with his 22-point game against the Lakers over the weekend, I thought this would be a really good time. Castle's been interesting to this point. I would say he's been pretty solid, but not amazing. I had him ranked 13th in the rookie rankings, and I feel like Spurs fans got a little bit disappointed with that. I understand why. He's been much better since entering the starting lineup, by and large. If you look at his last 5 games, I guess this would be 6 games, he's averaging 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 47, 42, 76. So he has been really good in these minutes. Tonight, he was just, if I remember correctly, they did play tonight, right? Or was it last night I'm thinking of? Can't remember. But he was just okay in the game they had against Dallas. It was last night, I believe, now that I'm thinking through it. Was just okay in that game, was just okay in the game against Sacramento that I watched. And then had like a solid game against Portland, if I remember correctly. But this game against the Lakers was the one that I thought was like really, really good among the ones that I've seen. And look, I loved Steph Castle coming into the draft. It's probably worth noting that and kind of talking through that a little bit too before we get started. I think I had Steph Castle at 2 or 3 on my board. I think 3, if I remember correctly. And we can kind of talk through why really quickly before we go any further here as I pull up my thoughts here. I mean, a big piece of why I loved Steph was just great defender, real passing ability. I wouldn't say he's like quite a point guard. He's played some point for San Antonio and been okay so far, but I would say he's more of kind of like a do everything-ish kind of guy. I ended up with him in like my top tier of players in this class, which is to say that, you know, he was fine. He wasn't necessarily some amazing prospect that I absolutely loved necessarily. I had him as like a high leverage starter long-term with some all-star upside. If things like really broke right for him as a shooter. So let me just pull up what my thought was on the draft guide real quick while we run through it. So in summary, Castle's polarizing this year because of the jumper. If you believe the touch he's shown from the free throw line and around the rim will translate and you think his mechanics are workable, you'll probably be higher on him. If you think he doesn't have enough of a baseline level as a shooter, you'll probably rank him in the later portion of the lottery. I ended up with him at number 3 because I buy the jumper improving over time. And if it does, he has as much upside as any player in this class. He's a potential big initiator who can already pass and is comfortable in ball screens. He's a lead on defense. That has stood up very early for San Antonio and showed that he can play a high-level role on a winning team. His floor is a contributor that helps you win important games, even in the NBA, due to his defensive prowess and on-ball ability. If the jumper ever develops, he's one of the few players in the class that has a realistic all-star ceiling. It's an uncertain bet, but there are no sure things in this class. I liked the mix of floor and ceiling, essentially, is the easiest way to put this. I saw the vision for what it could be. And my ultimate thought was, you know, the worst case scenario here is I don't think he's going to be a bust. He's a great defender. He processes the game super well. He passes well. There's enough shooting here to where I think he can get to a manageable level. If the pull-up shooting, though, ever comes, he's like a real star. So far, it's been hit or miss to me. He's had some really great games lately, but early in the season, the reason that I had him at number 13 or wherever I had him is that it was a bit of a struggle in his first few games. For his first 8 games of his career, he was at 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting 30% from 3 or 30% from the field, 14% from 3. It took him a minute to figure it out, but now that he's in the starting lineup, he kind of basically took over when Sohan went out. I kind of think he's been really good. And I think he's a valuable player for them moving forward. And he might be more than that. Like, he might be the initiator that they're looking for. Because it seems like they want to play bigger. I know they have Chris Paul in their lineup, but I feel like given last year with the Sohan experiment at point guard and everything, they would love the ability to have like Steph Castle be their guard, Devin Vassell be like their 2 guard, have Wemby like occasionally grab and go on the break and just kind of share everything and then be able to play like crazy defense around them and cover all sorts of ground and everything like that. It's not a bad strategy. I just think Castle has a bit of room to grow to get there. Let's just kind of talk through this game. This was his best game of his career so far. 22 points, 5 assists, 7 for 12 from the field, gets to the line 8 times. That's a career high so far. Goes 5 for 8 from the line, but was a plus 17 in this game that they lost by 5. So massive impact. And we're absolutely going to stop and talk about the defense as it comes, because he was a monster defender in this game. I thought he did a great job on defense, but let's kind of run through and talk it over. So here, for people who have not seen Steph Castle play, he's a rookie. It's very possible for some NBA fans, right? This is Steph Castle, very tall hair, leg sleeves, look for that as you're kind of watching him on the court. So they've used him a little bit as a screener this year, which I think is interesting, but you can also use him in on-ball actions. Where this one here, he gets a screen from Champagnie, and now he's got downhill against Dalton Connect, right? I love that he just kind of sets him up. The thing about Castle is he plays at great pace. I've always really liked that about him, even going back to high school when he was in Georgia and when he was playing at different events like Hoop Hall and stuff. I really like that he plays at pace. He's always had great feel in ball screens, but just watch the pace here. So between the legs, hesitating the whole way, right? Trying to get just that little bit of separation, quick little shoulder fake, gets connect, gets to the elbow. He's able to drive connect back with these moves, makes the shot. Look, I wouldn't say that like Steph Castle is a shooter I completely trust at this point of his career, but if he can make that shot, I mean, he's a serious player. If he can make that shot, like I will just say that from the jump. If that shot starts falling for him, he has like significant all-star upside. If he can make that consistently, I'm going to pull up his shooting numbers to this point of his career for the Spurs. So through, 11 games or whatever, he's taken 38 pull-up jumpers, has made 22% of his threes and 35% of his 2-point jumpers. So not great so far, but I like the move here. And these are places where he can grow, right? So next, steal here from Harrison Barnes. I love that he knows that he can throw this ball about as high as humanly possible here to Victor. And I love that he knows that I've got LeBron here. I can throw this ball a little bit behind Victor and he's still going to go get it. That way you can throw off LeBron just a little bit potentially if LeBron goes toward the rim. Perfect ball. Goes up. Gets it to Wemby for an easy dunk. Nice little quick action here. You can get Castle going downhill toward the rim this way. Again, I just really like the pace here. It's going to end up that Harrison Barnes is going to get fouled. But again, just like a pistol-y kind of action here, where instead of stopping and turning, he just puts the ball between his legs, right? It's just that extra little split second of pressure that I think he puts on the defense here that is interesting and allows him to get deeper position here as he starts his post up against Cam Reddish. Here, I think he's looking at LeBron and sees LeBron is completely fallen asleep in help side defense as Barnes lifts up from the corner. LeBron's ball watching, gets driven, gets Barnes to the line, but that's good from Castle, right? Again, high level processor of the game. I really like what he can do in that regard. Really smart basketball player. So here again, just setting up Cam Reddish. But you can also see, like, he gets fouled here. Not a particularly explosive athlete with the ball in his hands, much more of like a power kind of guy, right? Reddish is going to be able to stay in front of him pretty easily here and just wall up. And Reddish just fouls him. Like, that's a mistake on Reddish's part. Again, slick between the leg crossover. Tries to attack this top foot here. Tries to get downhill. Reddish is able to still kind of stand him up, right? Then he has to pivot back. And really, that just can't be a foul from Reddish. That's just not a very smart play. Just go up straight. Don't go up toward the elbow. It's kind of egregious if we're being honest, and he knows it. Next, look at the defense. Just fights over the top there. Ends up being a made bucket eventually for the Lakers, but this is just the kind of stuff where you can see, you know, reads this pretty well. I would be interested to know what the communication is and the plan is here. He treats it like they're guard to guard switching, like almost like a side stack pick and roll. Where you're worried about this, but really this is more of like a Chicago. This isn't even like a side stack. This is just like a zoom action, really. So they just decide to switch guard to guard on the zoom. And Steph just goes way up. If they're doing that, though, I'm not totally sure what Barnes is doing, if I'm being honest. But that's what throws me off here is someone between Castle and Barnes screws this up. And it leads to him being wide open. Collins is right. It's either they're guard to guard switching here or they're not. And you need to be able to have that communicated ahead of time. Ends up leading to a couple of offensive rebounds and an easy bucket. Look, communication is going to have to be key. But it's hard to know who to blame that on at the end of the day. Here, going to get a full look at the Castle shot, right? So D'Angelo Russell, again, just has not been great recently. It's going to be a kick out here. First thing, I love the shot prep. I love that he's ready to shoot. I like that he has he's getting real power from the lower half here. You can see his knees bent. You can see that he's generating significant power. I think this shot just looks a little bit funky, if I'm being honest still. Follow through still looks a little bit weird to me. I do think this is better than what it was. I would argue he's probably bringing this a little bit too far back to his head. And I think he's leaning backward just a little bit, just a very slight amount. But hey, it goes in. That's one that went in, right? Look, he's not shooting great from three this year. If you look at the overall numbers, 36% on catch and shoot threes, 22% on pull-up threes. Going to need to get some consistency on the pull-up jumper. So here, I love the way he sets up Reeves here. I would like to see him keep the dribble alive as well. Ends up getting blocked. So a couple things here where we're going to talk through this one. So step up here from Zach Collins. Going to set up to where he can kind of snake this around. I would prefer he keeps his dribble alive here. I think he's thinking, okay, I can just get to this jumper and take it. But this isn't a jumper that you want to take with 17 seconds left, right? And this is classic, rookie right? Like this is not going to continue throughout the course of his career. But he needs to keep his dribble alive there against AD. And that might just be like, hey, this is the first time I've played AD or whatever, right? Like if you don't know like what his length feels like, it can be tough. Like he is a real problem on defense. But he really needs to keep the dribble alive there, in my opinion, especially if he's going to snake that. So second, he goes and gets the ball back. I love the pump fake here. But you can see just like not a lot of lift at the end of the day. Not some crazy explosive athlete. Almost look like he's trying to like cock back and dunk this, but like he's not somebody that can like take off from outside the semicircle and like really throw down with his hang time and like be able to explode through somebody. I think if Reeves doesn't step up here, he might be able to go up and really explode and dunk from there. But like he can't take off from there and go through somebody and dunk it. That's just like not in his toolbox at this point as an athlete. And that's okay. But again, if you're going to do that, you're going to go get that offensive rebound after the ball hits the rim. I think you probably got to either see how many guys are around you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and kick out. Or you've got to take this little exit here and reverse out. Because at the end of the day, you've got a lot of options if you can reverse this ball out. And again, rookie, it's going to take some time. You don't really want to overemphasize these things. He's probably going a million miles an hour right now in his head. But also you'd like to see him finish that. Like Stars finish that play. He's a rookie. It'll take some time. Ball gets back out. Keldon Johnson, I think, missed that 3. But defensively here, goes with D'Angelo Russell. Now we're just going to see him get over the top. Gets through a screen there, no problem. No problem with the ghost screen. And then he just walls up D'Angelo, right? Just like, look at this. This is perfect, right? This is exactly what we're looking for. He's kind of in the air here. But I mean, he's just a wall at this point. D'Angelo can't do anything. He's picked the ball up. That's perfect defense. Leads to a connect jumper. Missed it. And it's a mid-range jumper, so it's not a high volume shot or a high value shot. Here, quick little early action. We're just going to try and let him get downhill. I love the way that Wemby exits early here and forces Davis to come with him. By exiting early, he is forcing Davis to come with him and leaving Reeves to go deal with this. Ultimately misses. Again, like he's strong enough to where I think that ball will go in at some point, but he's going to have to make them. He was a really good finisher at Connecticut too, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Do I have that number? I don't know if I do. This one, easy pull-up jumper, walk in. Look, again, if he's hitting these shots, huge. You know, Reddish takes like kind of a bad angle around. Good screen there. Do I love taking an early mid-range shot here with 17 on the shot clock? I don't, but this one's so wide open. This is so wide open. I like the balance here. He's elevating into the shot. This is one where I'm comfortable enough with it to not complain too much about it. And it looks good. It goes in. I would guess that, you know, you see him do that little quick turn back, right? Right here. Heads turned. He's looking at the pocket pass here. He's trying to spot Reddish, right? I think when he turns back, you realize this Reddish is so far behind him that he can just go, right? Take that shot. But here's the other thing I'll point out too. And this is something that I think I see here in the comments from Eric Olson. He struggles to turn the corner. That has been an issue with Steph Castle his whole career. He's not a guy that really turns the corner, which is why this shot here is so critical for Steph Castle moving forward. has to make these shots because he is not some crazy athlete. He's more of like a Jimmy Butler-y athlete as opposed to an Anthony Edwards or whatever, right? He needs that mid-range shot to be able to fall. So here, this is the same play again. Just going to see it again. Keldon Johnson trying to back down. Don't love it. I like how he understands how to space here. Just completely catches Cam Reddish falling asleep here and helping on the ball unnecessarily. So Austin Reeves kind of falls asleep on this one as Vassell kind of goes over. You see Collins recognize it. He goes and sets just this little rub action here. Reddish has to help up. That's a good play from Reddish. He has to be there for this. But Reeves gets back. And once Reeves gets back, Reddish has to be there. He's got to go back and get this here. Instead, he tries to play denial. And I love that Castle understands, okay, this is the best way I can help the team here. Just back cutting, right? So kick out. He thinks, okay, I'm just going to space to the corner. Maybe I'll take a three. But then he goes, no, I've just got all this space. I'm going to go. Plus, Reddish is denying the 3-point shot. So if he cuts, he's actually opening up a passing angle. Just really, really sharp from Castle there. This is double drag. Live dribble pass behind him. Really good pass to me. This is good offense. If we're going to start with this, right? So Vassell's going to come here, set a screen. Collins here, and then we're going to try and get downhill. Almost looks like it's supposed to be in action, given the way Vassell acts, where Vassell comes back here, and Collins should be screening Max Christie. I'm just guessing based off of the way that Vassell kind of goes that way, but then when he sees Collins kind of sit there at the top of the key / right wing, he just kind of spaces back. But from Castle's perspective, what he's seeing is that Reeves has come with him and AD has come with him, which means almost certainly that this is a 2-on-1 on the top here, which means at the end of the day, he just needs to get this ball back out. He's kind of just counting bodies on that one and understanding where to go with it. And he's sharp at doing that. That's the stuff he can do. I think he's a really smart player. Again, it's just all about, can he turn the corner and consistently be able to break down defenses? This one, they just go way under, and you don't blame them, right? So here, Cam Reddish is on him. Reddish just chooses to go under this screen, and they switch it. Reeves chooses to go under here as well. Bump the roller and just gives Castle this shot. Honestly, I think that's probably the right call at this point in Castle's career, but he makes him pay. And if he can make that shot, this shot might be the swing skill in his career. And honestly, we've talked a lot about the shooting. The shooting is Steph Castle's swing skill at the end of the day. This shot particularly, if defenders have to go over his screens, it changes the complexity of what he can see on the court in terms of his passing once he gets into this area here. If he has this shot, he does have a real shot to be an all-star, I think. He needs to prove that he can make these shots consistently, and that's probably a couple years away. But if he can do that, he's a real dude, a significant dude. So here, Castle brings the ball up the court. Nasty little right-handed pass here. So what are we seeing as we come up? I honestly think that on this one, he's just seeing that he has Zach Collins and that Collins has LeBron leveraged here if he faces him across or crosses his face here. And it's a good pass, and it's an easy bucket. It's not a pass that a lot of people would throw, I don't think, honestly. But he just, I think, looks at the leverage and decides to throw it. So now, late in the second quarter, empty side, gets fouled. Good work. What I want to call out here again is just the hesitation, the ability to use hesitation. Strings them out, uses that little hop step, right? So inside out, second inside out, just gets AD just that little bit off balance and goes. Let's get to a quick little note from Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money action. There are over 10 million members. Like I said a second ago, they invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks always puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. We are big fans of Prize Picks here. We absolutely love the app and what they're doing for the daily fantasy sports scene. Download the app today and use code Game Theory to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use that code Game Theory to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. My Doer jeans are truly my favorite piece of clothing that I own right now. They sent me out a pair of jeans and they are fantastic. I've been wearing these things everywhere that I can whenever I go out of the house. They are so comfortable. They look great. They feel great. They're stylish. They're versatile. You can wear them in a lot of different situations. They are fantastic, fantastic jeans. Doer is built for doing with styles of stretch performance denim and lifestyle apparel for everyone in every season. Doer has you covered for the colder winter months with fabrics like a fireside denim, which is interwoven with fleece for warmth without too much bulk. Plus, Doer's clothes are sustainably crafted to last. They're going to be a staple in my closet for years. I am going to try and get them to send me more clothes out, in all honesty, because they have been so good. I love my Doers, and I'm sure you will too. Check out Doer's flagship stores in LA or Denver, or shop online at shopdoer.com/game theory. That's shopduer.com/game theory. Right now, my listeners are going to get 20% off your first purchase when you use that exclusive URL. Don't wait. Get 20% off at shopdoer.com/game theory. So this first play of the second half, always curious what teams run first play of the second half. It's a big play there from Castle here. Castle kind of helps blow this thing up, right? So Reeves back this way on a screen from AD. And then look at the way AD is going to just flip this, right? And then this ends up being kind of a get. But Castle stays attached and blows this up. He's with it, Reeves the whole way. Anticipates the play. Does a great job. So here, gets up over the screen, gets the contest. Austin Reeves just makes a sick shot, right? Look, sometimes the offense is going to beat you. This is a great defensive possession from him. This is an unbelievable defensive possession to me from Steph Castle. He does everything right here. Every single little thing. It's perfect. This one, we're going to kind of get into some fun actions that they started to run here. think they run this like on kind of back-to-back plays to start the half. So Champagny is here. He's going to set like a little wrap pin for Wemby. Wemby's going to come up off of what essentially amounts to like staggered off balls in the hopes that he can go get this ball here. Honestly, like I'm a little surprised Chris Paul doesn't throw this ball to Wemby here. But Reeves, I guess, undercuts it, and LeBron might be there. He might think it's a little cloudy. Instead, he just gets it to Castle. Pump fake. Again, like, this is one where you would expect somebody to be able to turn the corner, and he just, like, can't turn the corner at this point yet. But he does see Wemby. Wemby's just saying, hey, throw this thing up. And he goes and throws it up. Perfect. You could say maybe he's not trying to turn the corner here. I think that's like a very real assessment here that he makes the choice. Hey, Wemby has his hand pointed. I'm just going to go this way in order to try and draw LeBron away here, knowing that he's just got Reeves cooked. I would hear that out. I'd hear out that he's that smart. I think he is that smart in all honesty. So here again, little wrap pin from Champagny into a stagger for Wemby. Wemby comes through, back out to Castle. Castle drills another three, right? Again, like I just want to be clear with people. Like Steph Castle is shooting a not great percentage from three so far this year. He's shooting 29% from three this year. And a big case from Spurs fans has been he's taken a lot of like full court heaves, but not that many, guys. He hasn't taken that many of them to where it'd be like crushing his percentage down below 30. But hey, again, if he can make this shot, changes his career. Totally changes his career. And by the way, he is shooting 36% on catch and shoot threes this year. I think he's always been like relatively okay on catch and shoot threes. If you look at the Connecticut numbers, let's see if we can pull those up real quick. Per synergy, he shot, 26% from three on catch and shoot threes. So maybe I am mistaken on that. But it looks better off the catch than it does off the pull up for me. Here, he's on LeBron. I like the help here. One thing I want to call out immediately. So look at him put his arm out. He tells Champagny, switch, stay on LeBron. A lot of rookies miss those calls. It took Cade Cunningham a lot of years to figure out those calls. He cuts off Connect, does a good job there. Again, communicating what's happening. He feels Reeves here. He tells Chris Paul, hey, go out, I'm stuck. Contest, gets the shot. He's talking, he's communicating. That's the Connecticut in all likelihood. That staff is fantastic at what they do on defense. They do a great job of teaching those guys how to communicate. Look at him just like trying to bother already. Does a great job. You know, again, if you watch the Connect video, this is like a Horns pseudo set again. I know that AD ends up coming all the way up here, but that's basically the way it sets up. But you enter the ball and you go away, right? That's what Connect was thinking on that one. So here, Castle recovers, gets through. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him recover. It's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous play from Steph Castle. So gets through the first one with a bump, but gets through it. Screen one here. They get into like a Chicago where AD is going to try and hand this ball off here. He does. And just look at him fight. Look at him scratch. Look at him get through. That's sick. That's awesome. feel like I just went full Gruden. That's awesome. That's what we're talking about. That's awesome. That's absolutely everything I want from an on-ball defender, from a guy fighting through screens, scratching, clawing, recovering, getting all the way back in. Great play. Here, you just get to see the use quick reflexes to be able to get to this ball here. So he's on the weak side. You can see Reeves kind of setting this up so that Reddish can get a wide open three in the corner. He sees it and he gets the deflection. Stops the play. Ball actually went out off of Reeves too, so even better. That was a fantastic play there from Castle just to see that develop. Again, not a guy that's going to turn the corner super easy. You know, Austin Reeves, I think, is kind of an underrated defender insofar as he's not like getting crushed like Russell is, but you know, Reeves has no problem here staying in front. What does he see here on the kick out to Champagny? I think he's just kind of throwing this ball into an area, in all honesty. But it's a potential assist. So here, I put this one on here because this was a bit of miscommunication again. Spurs have had a few of these. And in all honesty, I don't know if I will blame Castle for this one. Keldon Johnson has a tendency to fall asleep on defense. Some miscommunications, let's go with an inordinate number of the miscommunications of the Spurs on defense tend to involve Keldon Johnson. Here, I would just be interested to know what is being said between these two. It feels like they're trying to communicate who is handling who. And the way this one starts is obviously Keldon on connect, Steph on Russell. I see no reason why they would switch here. I think this is on Keldon. I think this is pretty clearly on Keldon. I can't confirm that without knowing what's being said between the two of them. I truly have no idea why Keldon is coming up and following Russell here. Like, genuinely, I'm just not sure what the efficacy of that would be. Does he think he's on Russell like momentarily? I don't know. But you can also see him like kind of try and bounce back to connect, realizing, oh shit, that's not my guy. And Connect gets this easy bucket here off the look away pass from Reeves. Just look at Castle's body language. Just look at it, Keldon. Keldon has like a smile on his face, like, whoops. That's my bad. That's my bad. I'm guessing that's on Keldon. There's no exchange. There's no actual exchange there, despite the fact that it seemed like there might be. So here, Steph. This is like sort of a stack pick and roll, but honestly, I don't really even know how to. So this is a ram ball screen into a stack, seemingly, right? So ram screen from Russell. Koloko comes up, sets the screen. LeBron should theoretically be driving. Koloko should be rolling. Russell should come up here. Russell just kind of goes through the motions here, is my opinion on this. I mean, the way Koloko rolls, like, so Wemby stays attached to Koloko. Russell has every opportunity here to get to Wemby Like all he has to do is step this way, and he can back screen Wemby for a roll here from Koloko. He just doesn't do it, and instead he actually runs into Koloko and just completely ruins their momentum. So here, I like the help here. Another scramble help from Castle. And Russell comes over and just heaves because they're at the end of the shot clock. He has to put that up. But I like the help here, right? I think it's worth going through what the start of the play was, just to like understand why he's up there. But, you know, he's up there and Gabe Vincent is wide open. He does a good job, I think, trying to feed Vincent back in toward the help where Wemby is. And he switches on to Koloko. Johnson does a good job getting a contest onto Russell when he's helping the helper there. It's really good. Really, really good. Here again on the ball. Steph gets over the top of a screen. I mean, just a total miscommunication between Russell and LeBron there. Russell thinks that LeBron is cutting back door. LeBron is kind of planning on coming back up for a DHO. But it's rushed by Castle. Castle getting over the top, fighting through those early actions. Makes it harder. Reject DHO here. Baseline drive from Castle. Couple things again, like just in general, right? So how do we get here? Reject DHO into a ball screen from Wemby. Wemby's going to try and roll. He has the mismatch now onto Vincent. Also, he's here. And Reeves is fine with this. Like, he's fine feeding him. But also, after this first step here, you would expect that Castle is able to get all the way here. But Reeves is able to get back. Again, doesn't really turn the corner there and lets Reeves get back into the play. And he takes this weird, like, little lefty shot at the rim. Just not a lot of elevation. The footwork's kind of funky. He just has a lot of work to do around the rim, just in terms of his footwork, in terms of his elevation. You would hope that if he's not going to be a crazy elevator, which I don't think he's going to be, he's going to have like pristine footwork. There's just some stuff that he really has to work through. So here, he's on Reeves. Gets a bit of a late start here, but then gets all the way back, right? He has a lot of margin for error in terms of his ability to get back into plays. So I think he's anticipating something a little bit different. So Christie kind of comes through here, and Reeves just goes around early. And I think that catches Castle by surprise. Castle runs up, gets to the ball. Good recovery, though. Really, really good recovery. And then we get into just like an empty set here with AD. And of course, AD drills it. Gets them up 3. I mean, the Lakers are just really good. Lakers have a really good offense. It's the reality. So here, Castle stuck on AD. This one he just kind of leaves early. Don't totally know why he leaves early here. I was trying to figure that out, in all honesty. I think he sees Wemby out of the corner of his eye, thinking, okay, I can go. You can see him looking this way. He realizes that's where the 2-on-1 is. I have to get back up that way. I think he just recognizes that he's got to go and sees Wemby out of the corner of his eye, but ends up getting a foul on Wemby. That's one that You have to stay just a little bit longer here because you're one pass away. I'll even say here, just a second ago, you can see Wemby here. It looks like say to Castle, hey, you take him. We'll take you take Christie. I'll go back to AD. The problem is that once you see this pass get thrown, you can't leave. Like if you're here already and he's looking right at Reeves, like there's no, like he's looking this way. Once this pass gets thrown, you have to stay attached because that's where the ball is. You can't leave and just assume that Wemby's going to get there. I know that he's the longest player in NBA history, but he needs to get there. It needs to stay there in order to help Wemby get there. You can stay that extra split second and be able to help. So this is kind of a fun action here that I kind of love, in all honesty. So this is a Ram ball screen from the Lakers. I'm sorry that so much of this ends up turning into Lakers like offensive architecture. I just love their offense. This turns into a Ram ball screen. Ram screen from Reeves. Ball screen here from AD. Into a stack. But what I like about this that is kind of fun, typically in a stack, Reeves would go get Collins here for the roll. Instead, Reeves goes to try to screen Barnes on like a delayed, like double screen at the top. And how much of that is just Reeves adjusting on the fly? I don't know. But I think it's a fascinating idea for a stack pick and roll that I kind of love. But Steph Castle here again, just perfect switch, high, does a great job, forces the turnover from LeBron. This one, I loved this one because you can clearly see the eye manipulation here, right? So in transition, he is looking this way. He is looking at Harrison Barnes, which forces LeBron out, or not LeBron. Who is that? That is who? Reeves that way. First time those two have ever been confused for one another. It was hard with Reeves being right behind Collins. But you can see Castle is looking directly at Barnes and just drills Collins right there. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So here, look at that. Goes down, helps on to Reddish, gets back out to Russell, close out. And look, AD is going to make shots. Sometimes the offense beats you, right? But what we're going to call out here with Castle is he's got Keldon Johnson there. Keldon, I don't know. But Keldon goes and like stunt doubles from all the way across the lane, let's go with. So Castle has to go down and help the helper here. He's available for Reddish. I like that Wemby is here in this passing lane in front of Russell. They do a really good job here. Keldon gets back. Then he goes back to try and like not do anything double. I love this closeout though from Castle. Does a great job getting back. Gets back. Forces the kick out. Wemby's just a little too deep there. 1 point game. Ends up being a 2-point game for the Lakers there. Again, great job here from Castle fighting over the top of screens. So here, double drag in transition for Reeves. Castle just says, I'm getting over the top. Uses that front foot. Look at how he steps with that front foot here. Gets up over the top, sprints back. Wemby does a great job here, staying attached in drop. But I love the recovery. They don't even have to switch anything. And that's because, or was that Vassell there? No, that's Steph. No, that was Vassell that chased over the top. I'm an idiot. Castle comes back up here. And now he's going to have to deal with this switch from Reeves. They put 2 on the ball. There's a great help over the top by Vassell, not by Steph Castle. I got confused by the hair here. But I like where Castle is. Castle's in good position there. Here. And then he's in good position here. Stays with LeBron, switches on to Reeves. Helps force a miss. Really good job. And then we're out in transition. Castle. Again, I think this is an insane foul call, but like, I like the shoulder dip and I like the leverage here. I think he's out of control and that shouldn't be a foul call if I'm being completely honest, but he just out leverages Reeves here and does a great job. I hate the foul call, but he draws it. Good work by him. Now we're in just a 1-2 ball screen. He ends up flying back out. I love how aggressive and decisive he is attacking this closeout, though. That's the reason I put this one on here. Castle out to the wing, sees the closeout from Christie and just goes, I can just beat this guy. I love it. Has 3 Lakers around him. I mean, honestly, I would prefer a kick out to Vassell here. But, I mean, my goodness. This is the finishing stuff that I've been talking about where, like, he can do some power finishing stuff. He was a good finisher at Connecticut. But that's super impressive. That is a super impressive finish through traffic by Castle there. It's one of the better finishes I've seen from a rookie this year. That's really, really impressive. So entry into horns, goes away, switches on to Reeves, fights over the top of screens again, blows that up, and then he's there at the rim to help. Again, sometimes LeBron's just going to beat you, right? But look at him fight over the top of all these actions again, right? He's just fighting, scratching, getting through. Then he's going to rotate over, try to get there for LeBron. He's tough, man. This is an excellent game for a rookie. This one gets back out. I mean, this is like a movement 3, and you can kind of see where things start to break down a little bit for him if it's not just like a spot 3 where he can really set his feet. I mean, the balance is just totally off here. He's got like the leg flail going that way. No reason to necessarily take this shot, in my opinion. Ends up taking it, misses it. Lakers go down, drill 2 free throws. That's your game. But hey, super impressive game from a rookie, I thought. I think he's been really good this year in these last 5 games or 6 games, at least, since he's been a starter. Wasn't great to start the year, but very clearly one of the, 5 or 6 best, rookies in the league at this point. Probably something like that. Jared McCain looks great. Edey looks great. Jalen Wells has been really valuable all year for Memphis. So like you have to throw him in there. Trying to think like who else like really, really truly stands out. I mean, Ryan Dunn's been valuable, but I'd probably have Castle ahead of Dunn at this point, in all honesty. Ricochet has been useful, but probably in the same group with Ricochet for sure. Hey, I love the Castle pick from the Spurs. I thought it made a ton of sense. It's probably exactly what I would have done. And I think it's he looks like a great player for them moving forward. Looks like a guy that's going to be really useful. What he will be, though, like what the ceiling is, will be dependent on the shot. Is he a consistent high-end shooter, or is he just like I can make them sometimes shooter? If it's the latter, he's probably like a starter-ish player, a guy that helps you win for sure because he defends at a high level, processes it super well, dribbles, passes. But you'd like to see the shooting come around to be able to like really get to that high-end ceiling outcome, because at the end of the day, like the burst, the athleticism, like it's just not, you want a little bit more than what you get from Steph Castle at the end of the day. But if he's shooting, he's skilled enough as a ball handler to be able to take advantage of the threat of that shot and then be able to really score. So I like it. I like it a lot.